Hilchis Mamrim yesh b'chlol on teisha mitzvahs, sholish mitzvahs aseh v'sheish mitzvahs leisaseh. V'zeh proton aleph, lasis al pi ha-teira sheyem rulonu bez nagodl. Beis shalei loser midivreim. Gimel shalei lehesev al ha-teira lebe mitzvah shebiksav v'lebe pirushan shalomdu mipi hashmua. Dalet shalei legreim and akel. Hey shalei lekal oveim. Vov shalei lehakis oveim. Zayin lechabed oveim, and Ches liyirem yoveim. Tes shliyir haben seder umeir al kel ovevimei. So here the din of seder umeir the Ram puts in Hilchas Mamrim, and the lav is shliyir haben seder umeir al kel ovevimei. The Rambam in the Sefer HaMitzvahs, and the mitzvahs that the Ram also mentions in the beginning of the Sefer Mishnah Torah, where he lists off all the mitzvahs in the Hagdama. So over there, the Rambam says that the lav is that a person shouldn't be a zeil v'sevi. This is by Seder Meir. It says b'neinu zeh, he's a Seder Meir, and he also says that he's a zeil v'sevi. Now there's a lav to be a Seder ben Seder Meir. You get malchus for being a ben Seder Meir. There's even for the first edus causes it should be malchus. The second edus causes misa, as we learned behemshech, and we learned already in Hilchas Edus. So, but lepeil, what's the lav of being a ben Seder Meir? So the Churin Pashalosh Sefer HaMitzvahs, it sounds like the lav is the fact that the person is a zeil v'sevi. All the fact that they stole from his father, all these things are only that he brought him to be a zeil v'sevi. Masha'inkin over here, the Lashon of the Ram seems to be that the problem is that he's a seder of Avimi. That's why the Ram puts it in Tilchas Mamrim. You have to have a beer. What's the chiluk? Why is the Ram in Sefer HaMitzvahs put it into the din of the Geder Hadvarim is beside the fact that he's a zeil v'sevi? And over here, the Rambam is saying the fact that he's a mamrim, seder umeir. Ubir mitzvuseilu beprokamelu peide krish. Now, Bezdin hagodl shebirushalayim heim iker teire shebal peh. Now, the Rambam wrote in the beginning of the Hagdama that the teire of HaMitzvah, that Moshe Rabbeinu gave us the teire of HaMitzvah. Teire, that's teire shebiksav, and mitzvah, that's teire shebal peh. That this is Moshe Rabbeinu gave over bal peh the Pirush HaTeira and various different inyanim that doesn't say befurish in Teira Shebiksav. That's halacha l'meish misinai. Now there's the Meseira that goes over mider l'der that we know of the Teira Shebal Peh. So right now we have Teira Shebal Peh written, as the Rambam writes, the Arichos Advarim mitzad is the Eis Lasses Lashem Efeiro Teira Secha. So therefore Teira Shebal Peh was written down. But Lepel, originally the Teira Shebal Peh wasn't written down. So who are the people that had the authority to say what is part of Teresh V'Alpeh and what's not part of Teresh V'Alpeh? In other words, what's the right Meseira and what's the right way of learning? And the Rambam say Kama Pratim. So the authority in Teresh V'Alpeh, that's the Sanhedrin Hagodl. That's what the Rambam is saying. Bezn Hagodl Shebishalayim Heim Iker Teresh V'Alpeh Veheim Amudei Heira Umehem Choyko Mishpat Yetzel L'Chol Yisrael. They are the authority. They are the ones that are the Amudei Hira, and from them Choyko Mishpat Yetzel L'Chol Yisrael. V'Aleim Avticha Teira Shenamar Al Pi HaTeira Asher Yerucha V'Al HaMishpat Hashiyem L'Chol Tasa Zu Mitzvus Hasei, that there will be people that will be able to be Yerucha and the Mishpat Hashiyem L'Chol, and that's Tasa. So there's the Mitzvus Hasei to listen to the Yerucha. And who is the Yerucha? Yerucha is going on Bezn Hagodl. That there's a musik called, there's the musik of the Bezn Hagodl, but they are the authority on Teira Shebal Peh, and they are the ones that the Amudei Hira, they paskin Shilas, and they have to listen to them. B'chol hamayim b'Moshe Rabbeinu u'b'Teirasei chayev lismech ma'aseh hadas aleim v'lihishoyin aleim. You have to rely on the Bezn Hagodl. And there's a person who's going to say that he understands better than the Bezn Hagodl, as we'll learn by Hemshah. That's the musik of Zaken Mamrim. Zaken Mamrim is someone that's not accepting the authority of Bezn Hagodl, and he's saying his own thing. So the din is that a person has to accept the authority of Bezn Hagodl as being the people that are moiser. First, Teira Shebal Peh, and the Ram will discuss in the next halacha what comprises Teira Shebal Peh. In other words, Teira Shebal Peh, there's the Meseira of Teira Shebal Peh, and then there's also the halachas that they learned, the B'midah Shatein and the Dreshes Bem, and then there are also the Takonis and the Gzeiris, which the Ram says that's also part of the Teira Shebal Peh, and that's also Nichlal in Al Pi HaTeira Asher Yerucha. But I'll call upon him, there's a mitzvah saseh to listen to the Bezn Hagodl as being the authority of Teira Shebal Peh. V'cholamayim b'Moshe Rabbeinu u'b'Teirasei chayev lismech ma'aseh hadas aleim u'lihishoyin aleim. Kol misheino oise beharasam. So there's a mitzvah say to listen to them. And kol misheino oise beharasam. Ever belesa says shenamo lisosu mikol hadover asher yagidu lecha. So there's an asset to listen to them, and there's a lav of not listening to them. Vein leiken alav zeh. You don't get malchus for not listening to the bezin hagadol. Why? Nipnei shenitn lazharas misas bezin. From shekol chacham shemeir al devreim nisasi bechanik. Shnema ve'isha sheyasa bezod nevil tishmeiachulu. There's a musik of Zokin Mamri, which the Ram will say behemshik later on, further prokim, the dinam of a Zokin Mamri, and a Zokin Mamri is misase bechenek. So therefore, since this lav could bring someone to chenek, so therefore this lav of lisaser, so therefore that's the rule. The rule is that a lav shenitn lazharas misas bezin is ein leiken alein. So here also, be'atzam for not listening to Teresh Valpeh, it's a lav, there would be a svara, they should get malchus. But on the other hand, since this lav could bring someone to Mrs. Bezin, it's a lav shenitn lazharas Mrs. Bezin, therefore you don't get malchus. Then the Rambam continues, says, what is this? What is what the Bezin Hagadol says that you're supposed to listen to? So the Rambam says, Echad dvarim shalomdum eisum pi hashmua, veheim Teresh Valpeh, things that they have b'meseira, the lomdum pi hashmua, and they have b'meseira. What Moshe Rabbeinu said, pshat in the Torah, halacha l'meish misinai, or pshat in the Torah. ואחד דברים שלומדו איסם מפדייתון באחס מן המידה שהתרא נדרשת בהם ונראה ביניהם שהדין בדבר זה כחו, something that they decided, in other words, there are the midah שהתרא נדרשת בהם, and they came to the conclusion that this is included in a certain halacha. In other words, they learned the Kal V'chein, they learned the Gzeir Shava, things, dvarim, midah שהתרא נדרשת בהם, even though don't Gzeir Shava miyatzmei. But it means to say things that a person could understand based on his seichel. That's a second thing. Ve'echad dvarim she'osu eison siyog l'teira, lefi ma she'ashot sichlehem, ve'hein hagzeris, ve'hatakonis, ve'haminhogis. So there's three categories. Nochamal. There's what they have mepi hashmor. There are the things that they learned b'midah shatir in the dreshes b'hem, and then there are things that are beferish eret, that they made a siyog l'teira, ulefi ma she'ashot sichlehem. The Ram divides it into gzeres, takonis, uminhogis. V'cholechad ve'echad mishleishet dvarim elu, mitzvahs aseh l'shmei lehem. Ve'ever al kolachas mem, ever blesses. So there's a gzera. For example, there's things, let's see, there's a isur of basa b'cholov, and that basa b'cholov is only a psar behema. And then they made a gzera that al derech zeh should be psareif, because Pashas mitzad siyog, the Ram will say behemshach, that because you might come to, if you're not going to be nizer b'sareif, you may end up not being nizer also b'sar behem if it's not b'chalevimei. So that's a gzeir, it's like a siyog. Then there's a takana. There were certain takanas. L'moshel, there's Ner Chanukah, which is a din d'Rabbanan. You make a bracha, shegedushan mitzveisav. Ner Chanukah was a takana. It wasn't a gzeira. There was a takana, and al derazeh there's minhagos, which we'll see behemshach. So b'chol echad ve'echad mishleishet dvarim elu, mitzvahs aseh l'shmei lehem. Ve'ever al kol achas mem, ever b'leises. So again, there's Teresh Valpeh. The authority of Teresh Valpeh is the Bezin Hagadol. In Teresh Valpeh is nichlals, things that are mepi hashmua, things that they learned, the midah shater in the dreshes b'hem, and also the gzeiras and takonas and minhagos. In all these three categories, you have to listen to them. Ve'ever al kol achas mem, ever b'leises, including the gzeiras and takonas and minhagos. The Rambam Paskin, that also goes into a gather of b'leises. The Mishnah brings here that the Ramban argues with the Rambam, and he tells us that the gzeiras, takonas, and minhagos don't go into the gather of lisosur. That's something which the Rabban instituted, and one of his rayas is the fact that we see a safik deraisa lechumra, safik derabbanan lekula. If every derabbanan that the Rabban instituted goes into the gather of lisosur, so every derabbanan is really deraisa. So a safik derabbanan should also be a deraisa. So he brings that the Kiriseva, the Mabit, he answers that no, be'ames a derabbanan is taka deraisa, but lakatchila the Rabban instituted that only a vadi derabbanan is chayiv, and not a safik derabbanan. That only a vadi derabbanan is chayiv, not a safik derabbanan is chayiv. But I'll call upon him. The Rambam paskins clearly that the gzeiras and takonis and minhagos of the Rabbanan, also if a person doesn't listen to, he's over on a lav of lei sosur. Then the Rambam continues, Hareu Eimer, al piatera sheyerucha, that al piatera sheyerucha, elo hagzeiras, v'atakonis, v'haminhagos, sheyeru behem l'rabim, kidei lechazik hadas u'lesakun elam. So that the Rambam says is included in al pi ha'toira sheyerucha, that goes like Gzeres, Takonis, and Menhoges, Sheyeru Bem L'Rabim, Kedei L'Chazik Hadas L'Sakon Eilam, Vala Mishpat Hashem L'Chotasa. That's Elu Dvorim, Shalom Du Esim and Adin, Ba'achas Min Hamidus, Shatin the Dreshes Bem, and Mikol Adover Sheyagidu L'Cho, Zu HaKabbalah Shekiblu Ish Mipish. So these three inyanim of the Kabbalah and the things that Midrash Shatin and the Dreshes Bem, and the takonis and the gzeres and minhagos are included in this pasuk. Nachamol, that he's saying that it says mishpat Hashem v'luchotasa at the al piatera sheyeruch goes on the takonis and minhagos and the gzeres, and mishpat Hashem v'luchotasa there's dvarim shalom piashmua, and mikol adover sheyagid l'cha that goes on divrei Kabbalah. Halacha gimel divrei Kabbalah ein be'em machlekes le'elam v'chol dover shetimtze be'machlekes. So the Ram Pashtus is saying that in Halacha l'Meish Misinai, we said in Teresh Balpeh there's the Divrei Kabbalah, they do Makabel Ishmi Piyish. So he's saying in Divrei Kabbalah ain't be Machlekes Leilam. And if you find the Machlekes, is Biyadua She'eni Kabbalah Mimeish Rabbeinu. Now the Ramban in Sefer HaMitzvahs and Asagas and Sefer HaMitzvahs and Sheirish Aleph argues with this Rambam. And there's a lot of the Yunim, what's Pshat in the Ram? What does it mean? L'chura we find the Gemara we find many places. Chazid Nazik Tzreides, Sirtud by Mezuzah. There's various different things that's brought down in Gemara that there's machlekes, whether or not there's a halach l'meish misinai. So there's some sefer that says that the pshat is that once it was accepted, and those in the earliest Sanhedrin, that this is a halach l'meish misinai, and that was the Sagdin of Rav, so later on you can't argue with the divrei of the Sanhedrin, original Sanhedrin. Because we'll learn b'hemshech that certain things, even though the Sanhedrin came to a conclusion, but the Sanhedrin in the future generations could argue with the Sanhedrin of our previous generations in certain situations. Masha'inkin, as far as the Kabbalah is concerned, if the Sanhedrin came to the conclusion, and others, the people of the Sanhedrin argued whether or not this was the Kabbalah, and the Reiv Paskin, it was the Kabbalah, so the future Sanhedrins can argue on that. That's what the Sam Sefer says, and the Achreinim ask on it. There's a lot of Shakla V'Tarya about this Ram, what the Ram is saying, that the Kabbalah ain't by Machlekes. Al-Kopon, that's what the Ram says. Nachamol, Divrei Kabbalah ain't be machlekes la'elam, v'chol davar shetimse be machlekes, b'yadua she'eni Kabbalah b'meish Rabbeinu. Udvarim shelomedim min hadin, things that you learn out from min hadin, there's either from a Kal V'chemer or from various different limudim, mishleishes midrash atera dreshes b'am. Im hiskimu aleim bezn agod l'kulam, is that hiskimu, v'im nechluku b'hem. If there's an argument whether you can learn this out min hadin, so then it's helchen achar arev, umitzian hadin achar l'rabim. Mitzian hadin echad l'rabim. In other words, you have one din. In other words, since even though there are yechidim in the Sanhedrin that argue with this type of a limud, but nevertheless we go basu derev. That's part of the din of achar rabim lahatis. V'chein ha'gzeres v'atakones v'amenhoges. Imro miktzos and shiroi l'gzerezu. Elisakin Taganazu, Eishianichu Ha'am al Minigzeh, and Vero Mixosum Shein Royal Exerezu, or Vilela Sakin Takonazu, Vilela Haniach Minigzeh, is Noisen Venoisen Elu Keneged Elu, Vehelchen Acharuban, Mitzian Hadover Echad Lerab. So, kids, we go Basarev. So, Benegea Allah Mishmisinai, the Pashas Allah Shna Ram is an Allah Mishmisinai is not Shaykhis HaMachlekes. So that's why it's not Shaykh. The Ram is not discussing whether or not, if some say there is and some say there isn't, whether we're going to go Basarev. That's the Pashas HaMashmois. It says, not the way the Sam Sefer is saying. The Pashas HaMashmois says that the whole musik, that there should be an argument whether there's Allah Mishmisinai is not Shaykhis, which is hard to understand. The L'chura, we find Machlekes in about things, whether or not it's Allah Mishmisinai. But I'll call upon him, that's what the Ram writes. And then he says, but again, the limudim that we learn out min hadin, which b'pashtus means from the midas, shater and the dreshes b'am, that there could be an argument, and al derez whether to institute a gzeira or a takon or a minik, that there could be an argument. Then you always go basarev. That's l'chura what the Ram is saying. Halacha dalet. Kshahoye bezna godel kayim lehoyse shom machlekes b'Yisrael. Why? Elakol din sheneled b'selfik le'achad b'Yisrael. So the first thing he would do would be sheil the bezin shebirei. He would ask the bezin shebirei, and they would ask him, "What's the din of this suffix?" Im yodu, if they knew what the din is, amrulei, so they told him. Vim lav hari asheil im oisi bezin oyim shluchei is oilun l'Yerushalayim, and v'sheilim lebezin shebahar habayis. So the bezin shebahar habayis was a more of authoritative bezin then the Bezin Shabbat, even if the Bezin Shabbat was a Bezin of Chav Gimel, and the Bezin Shabbat Abayis was also a Bezin of Chav Gimel, but nevertheless, the Bezin Shabbat Abayis was apparently more of an authoritative Bezin. Now, im Yodu Amrulem, if the Bezin Shabbat Abayis knew Amrulem, Vim Lav is Akil Boin Bezin Shal Pesach Hazor. And that was vices more of an authoritative Bezin. There was the Bezin Shabbat Al Pesach Harabayis. There was a more authoritative Bezin, the Bezin Al Shal Pesach Hazor. Im Yodu Amrulem, Vim Lav is then Hakil Boin Lishkas Hagozis LeBezin Hagodl V'Shelim. Im Hoya Adovish Neilid Be'asofa Lakel Yodua Eitzel Bezin Hagodl. In other words, they had a suffix about it, but Bezin Hagodl knew the answer to it immediately. Bein Mipi Kabbalah or Bein Min Hamida Shadonu Bo is Emel Miyat. So in other words, if Bezin Hagodl had the answer right away, they either had this answer because based on the Kabbalah that they had, or because they had the Midah Shadonu Bo is Emel Miyat. Vim Leiho Yadova Bor Eitzel Bezin Hagodl. So then in Donen Bei B'Shaita. So then at that point in time, when this Shaila was presented to them, they're done in the Shaila. V'nesim B'Dover. Achi Yaskimu Kulon. Yamdu Leminyan V'Yelchu Achar Arev. V'Yemru L'Kol HaShelim Kach Halacha V'Yelchu Lem. So at that point in time, so it wasn't shaykhah that there should be an argument. Because the authority was Bezin HaGadol. So when if you had a Shaila, you'd go to Bezin. If Bezin doesn't know, you go to the Bezin Shabbat Harabayis. If Bezin Harabayis doesn't know, you go to the Bezin Shabbat Pesach Hazorah. If they don't know, you go to Bezin HaGadol, and they're the authority. Once they say what the Psak Din is, so everyone accepts that Psak Din. However, Mishabotel Bezin HaGadol, once there's no Bezin HaGadol, so there's no that authority of what Teresh Balpeh says, so then Rav Som Achlekes B'Yisrael, Zem Metame V'Nesen Tam L'Dvorav, V'Zem Metar V'Nesen Tam L'Dvorav, Zeh Esav V'Zem Mater. And there's no authority to say that this is the authority that's going to decide between these two Chacham. Now, Shnei Chacham, Shnei Batidinim, Shnechluku, Shalei Bezman Azrahed. And what do you do if there's an argument between two Chachamim or two Batidinim that are arguing and there's no Sanhedrin to authorize and to establish which is the halacha? Or even when there was a Sanhedrin, before it actually reached the Sanhedrin, there's an argument between two Chacham, what the din is, Bein Bezman Echad, Bein Bezach Hazeh, whether the two Chacham are there at the same time. Or there could be even a Metzias, you had a Chacham, which was an earlier Chacham, that paskined one thing, and now there's a later Chacham which holds differently. So there's an argument between these two Chacham. Echad Metami, V'echad Metayr, Echad Eser, V'echad Mater. So the din is, Im Einat Yedeh Lehechan Adin Neita, V'shal Teire Halech Achra Machmer, V'shal Divri Seif Malech Achra Mekel. In other words, it has the din of a suffix, and since it has the din of a suffix, so that's the rule. The rule is suffix deraisa l'chumra. If it's a suffix in Teira, it's l'chumra, and if it's a suffix a din d'rabbanan, it's l'kula.